And that €90 million has been spent by your department so far in terms of special emergency arrangements. Now, last month alone, 22 children went missing from state care. We know previously of a 14-year-old girl who was abducted by a criminal gang within minutes of being placed with TUSLA, and she was found 1 year later locked in a brothel. I tried to raise these matters with you, but you don't listen. A retired judge, Judge Sims, tried to raise these matters with you, but you deleted his files, citing GDPR. A whistleblower tried to make a protected disclosure in relation to unvetted care workers. TUSLA tried to refuse that, but only the Commissioner has ruled now that they have to accept it. Last week on RTE Radio, TUSLA CEO stated that staff and SEAs were absolutely vetted. Now we know from an article in the Irish Times yesterday that one company was providing falsified vetting documents to TUSLA, and that an internal TUSLA report in July found that staff did not have up-to-date Garda clearance. The name of that company was Ideal Care. I understand that there's a Garda investigation into that matter. My question to you, Minister, is have you ever met with the owner of that company?
Minister.
I don't believe that I have, Deputy, but I can...
I have in my hand, Minister, a document which shows that the owner of this company, which was investigated for alleged falsifying of vetting documents and received millions from the state with regards to the unregulated care of vulnerable children, was on the same committee as yourself when you were a councillor in your constituency. Yourself and Paul Reid, who went on to become the CEO of the HSE, both sat on a committee quarter after quarter, the Joint Policing Committee, with this individual. And I would ask you the question, have you ever spoken to him about the provision of care? That's the first thing. The second thing is, why are you underfunding the voluntary and the regulated sectors? And that is at the heart of this situation. They cannot provide the necessary places because they are underfunded, Minister. And the fact is we're pumping astronomical money into dodgy, profit-motivating companies with poorer, unregulated services at a huge economic cost. Will you meet with the voluntary and the regulated sectors to discuss these concerns? And finally, given the amount of times that you've been warned about the dangers of these arrangements, given that your department shredded warning reports from a judge, given that whistleblowers were ignored on this issue and are only being taken seriously now that it's appeared on the front page of a newspaper, is this not a resigning matter for you, Minister?
I met with the community and voluntary providers of residential care in January, and I discussed these issues in detail with them in terms of funding. As I've set out before, I've set out in detail the additional funding that I've been providing to TUSLA so it can enact its residential care strategy, so it can put additional beds into the TUSLA sector, so we can reduce our reliance on special emergency arrangements.